Hiya folks, I'm Grim, and welcome to Grim Grooves, a channel where I react to and review music of all kinds. Today we'll be checking out a song from Fire Emblem The Three Houses, which I've heard is an excellent game, I've just never gotten around to it. The song is called God's Shattering Star, and a number of you have been asking for this one, so I'm assuming it's going to blow me away, because that typically happens when I get a lot of requests for something specific. And I've never checked out any of the music from Fire Emblem. It's one of those series that has just always been in my peripheral, and I've always been meaning to get into them, but I've just never played any of them. Like, I've played some of the characters in Smash Bros. And stuff like that, but that's kind of the extent of my knowledge of Fire Emblem. And I know it's really good, like, tactical RPG gameplay, and I've heard The Three Houses is a phenomenal game, but I just haven't got into it yet. So maybe this will make me get into it, because it does seem amazing. But anyways, if you got anything else you'd like me to check out from this game or any other, throw it down in the comments. And while you're down there, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe, because it helps support the channel, it helps support me, and shows that you're enjoying what I'm making, and I continue making more like this. And I'd also like to give a shout out to my Patreon supporters, because without their support I wouldn't be able to continue doing what I'm doing now. And so thank you for all the support. And without further ado, let's check out God's Shattering Star.
Questa voce la vita da ingrani what I was for beauty nothing
This is already a very interesting start. Was it Hebrew that they were singing in? I'm not exactly sure, but it definitely seems like kind of some kind of Germanic language of some kind. But regardless, that was really good. And the starting with just like the big booming kind of background elements there, and then building into the melody and stuff, like really cool. And now we're getting into, like, we got the strings, we got the piano, like we got so many different elements coming in here, and I'm excited to see how it grows, because this is an 8-minute song, so it's probably going to be quite diverse, and I'm excited. That bit almost sounds Final Fantasy-esque a little bit, but this is fantastic. I mean, the percussion is so good here too. It's such a big focal point of the song, like just all the crazy drum sequences and stuff like that. It's so good. And the vocalist, whoever this vocalist is, they have a fantastic singing voice. And again, I'm not sure exactly the language. It might be Hebrew, it might be something else, I'm not exactly sure. But regardless, it sounds phenomenal. And like, this definitely, like, I don't know if God Shattering Star is like, it feels like this might be a big boss battle song, like, because it's so epic. Like, it's just incredibly epic. Like, the horns coming in and like all these different elements just kind of booming in the background and building up the different melodies and stuff. Like, it's so unique and interesting too, like, for if it is a boss battle theme. Like, it might be a final boss battle theme, I don't know, but it sounds fantastic regardless. It's amazing how it keeps getting more and more epic as we go on. Like, it's already established that it's incredibly epic from the very beginning, and now it just keeps getting more and more intense and epic and stuff like that. Like, I wonder if there's a shift change for different phases or something like that. Again, I don't know much about the game and the combat and stuff, so I don't know if they do that kind of thing. If this is a boss battle, again, I'm just assuming, but it's just so crazy and intense. Like, that rising piano element there was so nice. And now going in, you get the horns, and you got, like, I think it's like a string, like a violin with some kind of like synth modification to it or something like that, because it definitely sounds a bit like 8-bit or a little bit in some of the moments. Like when I said that this sounds almost like Final Fantasy, like that's why. It's because it sounds like a modified violin element, or maybe like a synthetic violin. I don't know exactly, but it sounded phenomenal. Like, this is just, it's building so interestingly and so well, and the vocalist, like, being able to sustain notes for that long and that kind of cadence and stuff like that is so good. Like, it just sounded phenomenal. Like, it's so talented, obviously. Just keeps building. Like, the piano, like, you can feel it as that piano started, that piano section we just got through. Like, it's building and building with the melody, and then like the tempo is shifting up a little bit, I think, and the time signatures are shifting up a little bit. Like, it's so diverse and interesting. And like, there was that little like solo section where it definitely had some synthetic elements in there, but it was really interesting. It's just kind of like a little bit of a breakdown from everything else, and then it built into that piano section I was just talking about, and like, it just keeps building, and like, it goes down, it kind of dips a little bit, and then it builds back up really crazy, and it's so intense. Like, I could definitely see this as a like final boss battle kind of thing, or maybe fighting a god, who knows. But it's really, really cool. Like, this is so dynamic as well, so interesting. Nice. I love how the vocalists did their bars, and they harmonized in the way they did, and now it's repeating the kind of melodies that he was singing with now just elements of music, right? Like, it's really interesting. Like, repeating, it's like a back and forth conversation between the music and him or something like that. Just the way that it's taking the melody he just sung and now repeating it in musical form. It's really cool and sounds fantastic. Like, the horns and everything like that, and yeah, it sounds so epic. And again, the percussion here is absolutely stunning throughout the whole thing. Like, the drums are so good, and also I love how they just kind of like took out all the other instruments and had just the vocalist going, and then built everything back up again. Like, I absolutely love it when they do that. It's interesting because for most of this melody, this song that we've been listening to, it's been very epic, very intense, like a huge battle's going on, something like that. And now it almost feels a little bit different. It feels a little more triumphant. It feels a little more like you're winning the battle, or things are going to be okay. You're like, everything is going to work out in the end, and like victory is right at hand, kind of thing. Like, it definitely has a little bit more of a hopeful feeling for this ending bit here. I still struggle. This is a really interesting mix-up too. It's like I was saying, it had like a bit of hopefulness there. It's like, you're gonna make it through this, and then it got a little bit more intense. Like, there's still a struggle to get through before the end, and now it's like, this is the final push. You have to like get more intense, and things are tense, and like things are on the line. Everything's on the line. You have to win this. You have to do this, and that's kind of the vibe you get from this final section. It seems like I've only heard the very beginning of it, but it's a really interesting mix-up from what we heard before. Guessing that's loop. Might be a loop for the end there, but that was exceptional. Like, it was such a dynamic and interesting song, and I just was captivated, like, from the beginning to the end. Like, I was just whisked away by the music itself, and just like, yeah, I went on a huge journey there, and I have no idea where I went or why I went there, but I still loved it. Like, that was stunning. Like, so interesting. Like, I've heard a lot of boss themes in my day, like, and again, I'm assuming this is a boss theme just because God Shattering Star and how epic that was. It would just be weird to be just a background music. Maybe it's for a fight, just a normal fight or something like that, but that was absolutely crazy. Like, I love that song. Like, it was so unique too. Like, again, the use of the vocals, again, I'm not sure exactly the language, but I don't think it was Latin. It might have been, but yeah, it sounded a little bit different to me, but it just shifted up in style so many times, like changing up the tempo, changing up the time signatures and things like that. Like, it was really cool, and just so many interesting elements, and like the way that they weaved in like pure, like, realistic orchestral instruments, as well as like a little bit of synthetic elements there too. It was really well done, and it didn't feel like it took anything away when they did use a little more synthetic elements. Because, I mean, I personally have no problem with a little more electronic side of, like, things. Like, we can make the whole song in that style, and I'm completely fine with it. But it's just interesting, the kind of combination of, like, actual instruments, like the violins and the drums and all that type of stuff, and then you have the kind of synthetic elements coming in too, with, like, the modifications on the violin, like, different things like that. It was really cool, and it just grew so gradually over time and became so much more intense over time, and, like, a few points that dipped down and became a little more calm, and then built it back up and just kind of blew up all over. Like, it was fantastic. Wow. But anyways, thanks for hanging out, watching my reaction. If you liked it, make sure you hit the like button and subscribe. And until next time, later days, folks.